want to say, first of all, thank you for joining me today. I think it's going to be an awesome talk.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm really, really
For sure.
honored. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, getting this thing started, would you be able to give us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
I think the most important thing for me right now has been the process of the mirroring dynamics that I'm so fully invested in after going through 4 different journeys with ayahuasca and just having that blissful understanding of what we are, and then coming back and seeing only egos everywhere. I couldn't understand why. Why, after having that moment of realizing my identity, why is it that I'm going into this darkness of only seeing people's blocks, problems, traumas, masks? And the dark truth was I was seeing myself. I was seeing layers of myself reflected back. So I embarked on a journey where I knew that if I didn't see God in people, I had work to do. Like, I had to go deep inside myself. Why is it that I'm not seeing the light that they are reflected back, that I know we are? So
Interesting.
anybody that would come into my awareness, regardless, even, scammers that just message you and you just know, I'm like, oh my God, like, that's me. Like, how do I approach this? So I'm approaching everything with this lens now, that truly I know everybody's me. So if I'm feeling separate, I know I've got work. So I'm working all the time from that perspective, and it's very exciting to discover areas of me that I would not even see if it wasn't because that person said that thing, acted that way. And that's my opportunity. Instead of disregarding it, oh, that's your problem. That's you. That's the president. That's politics. That's whatever. No, that's me. So it's allowed me to go deep within myself. And that's what I'm offering people when they come to me.
Awesome.
I'm not a teacher. I'm not really a guide, even though I use those terms. I'm really just a mirror. Like, I'm just seeing myself. So I'm going to provide what I see for me to you. And if that helps you, and it always does, because we have shared programs, right? Like, when I'm feeling something, you're feeling something, even though the story in me is different than the story in you, the energetics of it, it's the same. So if I'm working through something, it's going to help you as well. And that's what I offer.
Beautiful. Wow. Yes, it's all a reflection. I feel like every pure teacher is in some way a mirror, right? Is that the place, would you say, of a guide or a teacher, is just to be a mirror?
Ultimately, yes. Yes. We choose the role of, because I have an area that I know more of, so I choose to teach, right? But eventually everybody's your teacher because everybody's your mirror. So when I know that people show up in my awareness, not because they're asking for help, but because they're displaying behaviors that I would say, oh, I'm not that, I know immediately they're my teacher. Because deep down, there's a subconscious judgment that I have. There's a pattern that it's in the same frequency state where they're coming from. So for me, it becomes more of they're teaching me. I'm not here to help them. They're here to help me. Just like the guy in the street that's asking for money. How do you feel? Right? Like, do you feel discomfort? Do you feel you have to help him? Do you see the distortion that he believes he finds himself in? Because we're not really helping anybody if we are seeing the distortions as well. So my work is, how do I come back into the light and see the light that he is and see the soul that he is, And from that state, relate to them. If I'm going to help them with some money, it's going to come from knowing that he's not in scarcity, that I'm not in scarcity, that we're in abundance. So in that moment, they're teaching me, oh, I'm still in scarcity. You're still believing in illusions.
It's powerful stuff. That's a huge 180 flip that we get from doing the work, doing ayahuasca, meditation, whatever modality or practice suits you, I feel as though it's still the same destination. And the destination is being able to see, as you said, everything as you, everyone as the guru or the teacher, rather than this person's against me or this thing is against me or I'm at war with yada yada, whatever it is. It's literally everything and everyone is a part of you. It's a tough pill to swallow, but
It is. It
it
is.
is the truth.
Yeah, because there are parts of you that are going to be in complete denial. No, there's no
Mm,
way. And I've been there, and I'm still am, because I still see myself where I'm not truly accepting it because, I still have judgments. I still identify as, someone that's XYZ. But that's my work, and I get excited every time I do. I really love this work. I love the mirroring process. Um, and that I get to love and increase my capacity to be the love, in this vessel. Because every time I integrate someone, oh my God, compassion and love just expands. And then there's not much to say, but just to share your smile, share your whatever daily things you're going through. It doesn't have to be spiritual, because we
yeah.
sometimes think that if you're not being spiritual or with the spiritual vocabulary, right, you're not being the light. But actually, we sometimes are more of the light, allowing more of the light when we're not in our head thinking about spirituality, and you're just being with
Yep.
the cashier, with the man that sells the water, like whatever.
Yep.
And you bring that sacredness to the mundane.
Mm, yeah. That's good. It is that simple too. Mm, yep. It's just, as you said, expanding into love, expanding into love more and more as we go. And it does make the seemingly mundane very, very sacred when you can see and love others for just who they are. Even the people that are tough to love, and that is the work too. That's the thing. It's because we're always going to encounter, and I'm just speaking personally, encounter people that the mind will say, "Ooh," right? It's just like, I don't know. Can I love this person? The work is seeing how you can, right? And why? I guess it's because it's for yourself. Getting back to it, it's like you want to love the ones that seem unloved, as you said before, because it's a reflection of a part of yourself that you can't love. It's all comes back to you, as you said.
Yeah.
It all comes back to you. Anybody that you think is not you, if the mind is telling you is not you, that just means there's more work. There's more work that you have to do in order to expand into this love that we're talking on.
And just as an example, for me, what appears within my awareness, I see a lot of spiritual teachers fighting against each other, and I'm like, oh my God, what's happening?
Yeah,
Oh my God, what's
I know,
happening?
right? Yeah.
And I see myself in all of them. All
Mm,
of them, they're aspects of me. We've been there, or we're still doing it to some degree or another. And generally, we do them to the little ones and we don't even see it. Example, our kids.
to, oh,
For people, like, unconsciously, I've seen that pattern over and over again. Just because they're kids, we immediately, like, the program doesn't allow you to see it, but you're
yeah.
doing it to them or to the animals. But to the ones
Mm,
that have less authority over you, that's where the program shows up. So I'm seeing all
the
this
program.
spiritual teachers fighting, and I'm like, okay, they're all me. And I'm integrating, and I'm not taking sides with no one. I can't take sides. You can't take sides. Like, how can you
Yeah.
take sides, your right hand versus your left hand, right? Like, no, you've got to
Yeah.
resolve the paradox. You've got to resolve that energy conflict within me. So that's what I've been doing lately with the things that I've been seeing. And I'm glad that because before I would side with one, against the other, even though if it was like very minuscule. And now I'm more like, oh, no, like I can be neutral. I can actually be in this space where it is resolved within me. Even mainstream events, like when Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, or right now with Blake Lively, and like I see myself in them, and I'm like, oh my God, such an opportunity to clear, and I'm clearing and forgiving and releasing. So I'm like, thank you for taking the hit for everybody.
Yeah, right. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard was just a giant message for everybody, amongst many other messages in our world. But yeah, I like how you use the word program, right? It's going against the program, because that's all it is the spiritual path is just deprogramming from our very, very deep-rooted evolutionary programming. In our evolutionary programming, naturally wants us to be tribal, and it wants us to pick a side, right? You have to be a part of the tribe, this one or that one, this one, not that one. So we're still working with that. We have that ingrained into our minds. And there is, like I said, countless lists of sides that you could pick that are put in front of us day to day. You got to pick a side. But the thing is, you don't have to pick a side. As you said, neutrality is the way. Staying centered is the way. When you pick a side, you've already lost. They want you to pick a side, though. It's just like so deeply ingrained in our just DNA. Like, I gotta see myself in this side and not this side, right? We can see that already with like wars or politics. Literally, American politics is the left or the right. Are you left or are you right? It's so backwards, right? It's so just archaic. It's almost embarrassing, but it's what we got to work with. And as you said, again, it is just a reflection and a message. Ultimately, it's a message of, I like to say, what not to do. There's countless messages of how not to be, in order so we can come back into the center and know how to be.
Yeah. And it starts with that without judging it, because the judgment is, even though it serves a purpose, right? But the energetic charge, right, that we're throwing to the other, and you think you're releasing it from yourself, but you're just putting it upon another aspect of yourself that you eventually are going to have to face when you're in the other side, because we're going to have to be in both sides.
Yeah. That's good. So you came to see like this sort of impartiality to life through ayahuasca?
No, it was always natural for me. I just didn't know it was a thing. I thought it was normal for everybody. And until I saw that, oh, no, it's not normal. But with ayahuasca, I really got to see the programming, because that was the missing piece for me. I would just see the light in people. I couldn't see the dark. It wasn't there. But I needed to go through darkness to understand actually like the pain and the suffering, how deep it goes, how deep the dark or the forgetfulness goes. So through me seeing that, I can actually relate more, because before it was more of a, I don't understand, why are you, you care so much about that, when it's, for me, it's easy to not be identified with it, right? So for me to dive into that darkness was good, so I can be more relatable. Not that I haven't had my share of suffering, because I've had, but not to the degree of how the world was. Like, I was very ignorant of it. I just lived in this bubble of, I knew innately that we are love, even though I wasn't aware that I was doing that until after all my ayahuasca. Like, oh my God, like I thought everybody knew we're all one and we love each other. Like, no, people don't really know. We know, but we know. So going through it gave me this new perspective, and I needed it. I really needed it, because you have to understand what truly is that we are, and just going through the darkness and seeing it for what it is, because people in pain and in trauma, it's not easy to just detach from it, you know? It is easy, but it's not. Once you're out of it and you see how it works, oh, now it's easy. But while you're going through it, it's not. So having that level of compassion and understanding, right? So you can provide the space for them without the judgment of, oh, it's just a program. It is just a program. But when you're immersed in it, it's your whole world. It's your whole identity that you think that you are.
So it brought a deeper understanding of the programming, essentially, so
Yes.
you could relate.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Because it was very natural for me to just neutralize everything. Like if I would speak with someone and I would feel the imbalance, I automatically would clear it with an argument that I didn't even know how it would came about, but it was just there. It was just natural. So for me, seeing that that was actually my thing, oh, that's my gift in terms of I can serve the world with this. Because before it was normal. It was, why don't people see it? Like, what's the problem? And now I kind of have a better understanding of the darkness and the forgetfulness and the pain that people carry of that disconnection from source, from truth, you know?
Yeah. You think that's what we all yearn for, is that connection to source?
We are here for the story of remembering that we can do it because we are it already. Yeah. So the process of creation is what we enjoy, even though we forgot who we are while playing the game. But that's what we're here for, to remember. So even if we don't get into spirituality or into any religion, like whatever you're doing, it's designed to eventually get you there, even if it's not in this lifetime. But it's already crafted, like you created it from a higher perspective. So it's already done. What you need to follow is just your guidance of that play energy, that playfulness, that joy. I want to do this. And then the dark comes, right? The challenge, the difficulty. But that's actually when you enjoy the game, right? You wouldn't watch a movie that was just plain happiness, right? We want the little drama just because we want to know that we can do it, that we are unlimited, that we are powerful, that we are eternal. So when we remember through the challenges, there's this sense of, oh my God, like this is fun. This is why I signed up for, even though it does look dark, even though it is painful, but eventually you remember that your true nature was never touched by anything that you went through. And even in the chaos, you can actually access that peace regardless of what's happening. So when I went through my extreme situations, it was like, oh, I'm still here. Like, this is what I am, even though this is all happening. So it's always there.
Yeah. Powerful stuff. It's like, would our unlimited nature, our infinite nature, be so miraculous if we didn't have limitations to transcend in order to realize it? It's a tough question, right? It's like, if there's no adventure, would the adventure be as glorious? You know, all the struggles, all of the things we have to triumph through in the adventure, in the journey, in the story. When you get to the end, per se, would it be as fulfilling if there was no struggle? Would the light be as glorious if there was no darkness? Yin and yang. I could go on and on with the metaphors, but I think that's what you just explained. It's like, there's a purpose to our challenges and our trauma and our darkness, and it's to almost bring glory to the part of us that is sort of transcendent of that in some way. You know, the infinite nature is only so powerful and so magical because there's a part of us that is seemingly limited. You know what I'm getting at here?
Oh, yes. So we can just like picture it. You are unlimited, eternal, infinite, powerful, almighty. right? There's nothing you cannot do, but you decide to forget, right? You
Yeah.
decide to choose limitation and to discover yourself anew. That's exciting,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
What can I do? What can I accomplish today? And even going to
Mm-hmm.
little trials, right? It's such a huge win when you've overcome it, because for you it was the most deepest unbearable thing, right? But you
Mm-hmm.
succeeded. So every story, even though it looks little, even though it looks like it's nothing, it's the best thing that can happen to you. Like
Yeah.
that's where I've gotten, like, the things I thought I didn't want in my reality was actually the things that I'm enjoying the most. Oh, this is what I signed up for. And now that I've succeeded, right? My definition of success, which is alchemizing it, which is seeing the truth, I'm having fun. Like, this is amazing. I want more of it. And I wake up like, what's
Mm.
next? What's next to alchemize?
Yeah.
And that's my
Yeah. Right.
play.
So beautiful. Yeah. Truly. And it's not like fun or pleasurable in the way that the mind,
Mm-hmm.
the ego mind, wants to portray it as. It's, I don't know, how would you describe it actually? Let me ask you that one, because it may not seem fun, but there's a part of us that yearns for it in some way. As you said, like you wake up and you say, what next? So what is that? Like, what is it? How does that feel to you?
It's like, for example, have you had that feeling of you have an idea to do like a project, or
Mm-hmm.
play the piano, or learn something, a skill, and you know you can do it, or you see somebody speaking amazing and you know you can do it. But when you start doing it, it's like, oh, my body is not really like functioning in the way, in order to channel that energy. So that's the challenge. How do I put my body, my physical vessel, aligned with that energy? Because we know we can do it. But once you want to do it, it's not happening. But why? Because
Mm-hmm.
the body, the animalistic nature of us, is not trained yet. It's not there
Yeah.
yet. So that process of creation, of achieving your body to be aligned with that, that's the fun
Yeah.
part. Even though it's,
Mm.
yes, it's hard. Yes, it's painful. Yes, we cry, right? Because we believe we're not succeeding, because we believe we're afraid of failure. We're afraid of rejection, of being abandoned, of being ridiculed. All of that, it's a real experience that we have. But ultimately, once you've accomplished all of that and you see it for what it is, and you see that you were already that all the time, that's why you had the first impulse of, I know I can do it, even though the body's not there, but you know you can do it somehow. And then that's the whole adventure of going to figure it out how. So you move through the blocks that you have, through the limiting beliefs and all of that, in order to get there. So that's the fun part. But yes,
Mm.
it is hard from a human perspective, but when you see it from your soul point of view, it's actually fun. So I have that I can actually see it. So I can see my humanness, right? Struggling, but I can see my higher aspect having fun with it. And I don't mean to diminish in any way, shape, or form people suffering, because I've been
Yeah.
there and I've had my share of it. And but there is this space where you can tap into, where you are not that you're
Mm.
not you're suffering, that you're not what's happening to your vessel. You are this
Yeah.
infinite, eternal awareness that cannot ever be touched. So when you can access that, you can be like back and forth playing with the roles that you choose without completely identifying with the role, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're actually
Yeah.
playing. So we really are playing from that perspective.
Mm. Yeah. It's a good description, is playing, because we play games, for instance, just because. I mean, sometimes there's achievements, there's awards, but for the most part, when you're a kid especially, when you play a game, you're just playing. So this essence, it seems like you're just creating for the sake of creation. You're just playing for the sake of play. You're just living for the sake of living. Unconditionality is what you're saying. There's an unconditionality to the way that this vessel is used through the higher intelligence. And yeah, I feel that. And that is priceless and that is glorious to be able to play in that manner. I think that's really all it comes down to. You know, you can use all the spiritual jargon you want, but really when it comes down to it is simply enjoying this existence, this seemingly tumultuous and dark existence. But in the enjoyment, one in one with the enjoyment is the essence of play. I don't think there's any other way but to play.
And the best part of it is that because you're playing, because you're in that frequency of joy and love, you're actually helping without helping. You're being of most service without actually thinking, oh, I have to serve, I have to help. You're by default, it's already happening. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Jinx. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what's very beautiful about, I don't know, I'll speak on other beings. It's like when I meet other beings that are in this frequency, in this realization, they don't really have to say much. I just feel it. There's just like a natural resonance in somebody's energy, in their voice, that has that that magic that brings one into, it seems like, their Buddha field. You know, it's like they have this field, this attraction. It's almost like this magnetic attraction, and it's love essentially. And that love wants to suck you in, and you can't fight it. The mind may try and fight it, but if your heart is open enough, you'll get sucked in, and you're in love. That's why we say in English, you are in love with somebody, because it's like this field that you get in with somebody. I mean, we also say, I love you and you love me, but I don't know, this, like, the term, I am in love with this person means so much more. Like, you're in this thing, right? And I know it's just a metaphor, it's just a symbol, but like, you're in this like other realm with the person. And when somebody is in love, it's hard not to be in love with that somebody, you know? And yeah, I think that's what we're talking on right now. Play, enjoyment, happiness, and love, they're all the same thing. They're all in some kind of service. Exactly. They're all in cohesion. They're all in the same soup, it seems, in this experience. They all go hand in hand. But yeah, moral of the story is you can't deny it. When it's real, when I am in the midst of a realized being, a loving, embodied being, it's obvious. It's like, oh, it's like warm. It's like a nice warm hug from your mom. You know? Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say other than that. Do you have anything to say on that note?
I think you've said it all. We've said it all together.
It really comes down to that.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you see kids, like, weren't you didn't you remember the pain of when your mom would tell you to go do your chores, do your homework when you were playing? Like that feeling of you just wanted to continue playing. And that's the same energy.
We lose that.
Yes, we got to tap into that same energy. But now we're playing, you know, the major leagues, you know, not the little house, the little car, or the virtual, you know, the Game Boy or whatever. It's the big one now. It's life. It's the game of life. But the energy is the same. It's the same energy. It's that creation. It's that force that wants to create, that wants to move through you, you know, to bring forth ideas, inventions, service. But it's going to do it in a way that's aligned with your purpose. That's why it feels joyful, because it's part of your blueprint. But if you're doing something against it, you're going to be in discomfort. You're trying to make your hand be your feet when it's not. You can't, you know? So let the hand be the hand, let the foot be the foot, and, you know, every cell of the body do what they're here to do. And It all
Amen.
works for the same organism.
Yeah. I think pure creation only comes from play, comes from that childlike innocence, that childlike purity.
And like Jesus said, the kingdom, right?
Mm-hmm.
The kingdom of heaven.
Unless you become like children.
Exactly. That innocence,
Yeah.
that playful, creative energy, that light.
Truly. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can try other ways, that's for sure. We have for millennia. We try and create with conditions and create from the mind or the ego. That might be why we are in this seemingly tumultuous mess of the world. Kali Yuga, as they say. But it only goes so far. It never adds up to that joy, true joy, enjoying. That's another etymology thing. You are enjoying. You are in love and you are
Angel.
enjoying. It's good, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Just picked up on that now. But yeah, you are truly enjoying when there is no expectation of reward from one's creation. That's what I find, at least. When one just gets lost in creation, and it doesn't have to necessarily be creation like you're writing a book or you're doing a podcast or a painting or anything physical for that matter, because I believe we're all creating, right? Like life is creation. You're always creating something. So the key is to just create for no reason at all. Not even think about, I'm creating this. It's like in that play is just the natural essence of creation, despite the fruits of our labor, despite any sort of I'm creating for this or not for that.
Yep.
It's just an essence of creation just to create,
For
art
the
for art's
sake of
sake. I think I
creating.
mentioned that.
Yeah, just for the sake of
Mm-hmm.
creating. Like there's no attachment to any outcome.
Yep,
You're not
exactly.
pursuing anything. You're not running away from anything. You're just fully immersed in the moment with the energies coming through. And that's it. Like that's the goal. There's no any other goal than that being in that moment, being.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. So that's your reward. So whatever happens,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter because you got what you were there for, which was the enjoyment of playing and creating and being. So whichever way it goes, you're going to be fine because you're not attached to any outcome because you were not expecting anything, even though it's still going to be creating from the same energy and it's still going to give you feedback, right? But you're not attached because you are the source. Outside, it's not the source. You are the source of it.
Well said. Yeah. And that's freedom.
Oh, yeah.
That's true liberation. Is to just be here now, without any kind of bias, without any kind of constraints, without putting any sort of this needs to be that way or I don't want it that way. To just be here without the mind saying you need something. This is what Buddha was trying to tell us essentially, but in another way to say it, it's to just exist essentially.
And the best part, you don't get drained. Have you
Yeah,
seen it?
right.
Like you don't get drained. You don't get tired because you're doing exactly what you need to do at every moment. If you gotta rest, you rest. So you honor it. You don't think with your mind, no, but I should be doing this because I need to get that. No, I'm doing what I need to do in the moment, which is to be. And that beingness brings forth the action that you need to take. You don't think about, when do I have to go pee? When do I have to go poop? Like, no, it's the natural. You just know and you go do it. The same thing goes for everything.
Yeah.
Naturally, spirit is going to move through you and you're going to know what your next step is. Instead of the mind being, letting you know what to do, what not to do, where to go. And that's where we suffer, right? That's where we encounter pain because we're going against our natural rhythm when it's already there. and we just got to follow it.
Mm-hmm. Going against the grain, as they say. Yeah. I like that, though. We have to honor that higher intelligence, honor the moment, and the messages will come through on what is needed. I know there's nothing we need. That might seem like a contradiction, but I couldn't think of a better way to say it. But if you honor what is coming up for one in the moment, the higher intelligence will guide you through any endeavor. Yeah, do you feel that? Do you feel like there's intuition?
Oh yeah,
This higher intuitive guidance?
very, very clear. And that's the
Mm.
only law that I obey. Because once you
Oh,
break that law, you are punished. You punish yourself by breaking your alignment, right? By betraying yourself. So that intuition, that's law. That's what you're here for.
yeah.
When you break that alignment, you're going against yourself. You're betraying yourself. So what is the reflections going to show you back? Well, you did it to yourself first. So now the mirrors are going to really show you.
Exactly. Yeah. I like that. That's law. Mm-hmm. Mm. It's always guiding, no matter what.
Your whole life is, because I look back at the moments where, oh my God, like, what am I even doing? Like, why is this happening? Is this supposed to be that way? And now that you look back, everything connects. Everything is so perfectly planned, because what the real matter of the thing is that you wake up to the truth of who you are. That's it. So how the illusion played out, it's irrelevant, truly, once you know the truth, your identity, because that's what all this movie is for you eventually to realize the truth, that you're playing a character and you decided what everybody was going to do, how they were going to play in your reality. But from a higher perspective, it's all love. It's all love, even though it didn't look like love from a human perspective, right? But it was for the greatest benefit of all, because we chose it.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So from that
Mm.
understanding, oh man, awesome. Everything is perfect. We don't need to micromanage anything. We don't need to fix no one. Like, it's God operating through everything, because God is all there is. So who am I to say that you shouldn't live your life the way you're living it? Who am I to tell God, don't do that? That's not okay. I mean, I know my preferences, right? And I align with my own intuition. So just because I prefer beef, I'm not going to hate chicken. It's just a preference, right? But I let you choose chicken and enjoy your chicken.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. I can't get the law idea, not idea, the truth out of my head. That's good. That's going to stick with me. It's the law. I like to say it's the flow. You go with the flow, the Tao, the way. He who is not with me is against me. It's the same idea, though.
It is.
Just follow that guidance, that guidance that is trying to. It's like guidance to yourself. Um, it's like a law for you to obey, so that you can wake up to who you really are. You know what I'm
In
saying?
a way that's not that painful. That's the thing. Like, that's why it's there. Like, your alignment is keeping
Yeah.
you within the road, not in the bumpy
Mm-hmm.
side of the road, right? Like the bumpy side, it's the pain. Oops, you're missing your alignment. Come back, right? So it's just a reminder, so we can come back to it. But yeah, we're so deep into this hypnosis that's the only way. Like, deep pain wakes us up. So it's
Mm-hmm.
necessary until it's not, like Eckhart says.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's karma. You just described karma, pretty much.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Do you believe in one way or the other that every pure teaching or belief system or religion is getting at this essence?
It is. It all stems from it. and it has its own ways of moving through it just to experience different angles to arrive at
Yeah.
the same conclusion it stemmed from.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Different flavors, different
we're just
symbols.
taking a ride, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's all the same truth. I like to say the truth is one and the wise call it by many names.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the tricky part, though, is like seeing the truth in all things, seeing the guru in all things. That's the work. That is the adventure.
Yeah,
Because
because
when you do see it,
we just like put
go
it
ahead.
into perspective, right? Like if you are watching someone in distortion, it's you. You're the one seeing them in distortion, right? You are it. You are in that judgment. You are in that frequency. So the same version of that person where he is exuding the light, being the light, is available. So why not tap into it? Both versions are available. Why are we tapping into the darkness?
Mm.
Because they're teaching you something, right? They're teaching me
Uh-huh.
something. That's the only reason I'm seeing them in distortion when so many different realities are available, versions of them are available. Why is that coming up? It's because they're teaching me. Period. So
Mm-hmm.
my quest is, to go and find it. What is it that they're teaching me?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's where you discover, ooh, the gem of that
Mm-hmm.
teacher.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Everything has the opportunity to be the teacher and bring one back to oneself. I think we're talking about sowing the seeds of accountability, true self-reflection, and that everything that comes across the movie screen of our life is something that we curated and that we created. That's a tough pill to swallow because our conditioning, the program, is that, as we spoke on before, this person did this to me. They're not like me. They're in the other tribe. So that is, it's like, it's tough. It's tough. But as you said, why not choose this way? Once you see this way, um, it's like, how can I not? There's no other. That's the thing, is there's no other alternative, I find, to deprogram, to break the cycle of samsara so that we can sow the seeds of, I don't know, kingdom of heaven on earth. There's no other way but to see everything as a lesson for one to come back to oneself and to reintegrate, respawn differently,
Yeah.
to not react from that separation mindset. Go ahead, though. Do you have something to say?
Yes, I'm going to share because I had a difficult moment with our family, went through something that affected everybody. So I don't know what words not to say on YouTube. I know TikTok is very,
Oh, I don't care. You can say whatever.
okay, all right. So there was a family member that teenager, she was raped by 5 of her classmates. It's a member of my family. I have girls, right? So the pain that the family was going through was big. And me, with the understanding that I have, how do I reconcile this, right?
Yeah.
If that were to happen to one of my girls, like how do I move through it? And it was very hard. So in meditation, what was given to me was that, so I'm the mother, I'm the daughter, and I'm the rapist. I was three of them at the same time. I couldn't stop crying because the understanding of that actually released whatever was there
Wow.
against, the perpetrators. I felt I had the experience. I was the three of them at the same time. It's very difficult to even explain this. But when like, you are them. You are them in that distortion.
Yeah. That's tough.
Yeah, it's not easy, but I needed to have that experience in order for me to release and to heal and move through it, and
Mm-hmm.
somehow help my family move through it energetically, at least.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because if you held on to it with a grudge, with the need for retribution or vengeance or revenge, that's only going to cause more suffering, right?
And that's, for me, that's putting the other cheek. When Jesus says you put the other cheek, is
Yeah.
you cut yourself from the game.
Mm-hmm.
You don't give it back. Okay, they did it to you. Okay, you cut yourself from it. You
Yeah.
don't react with the same energy. You alchemize it, and you're out of the game. If they want to continue playing the game, that's their choice. But you're out
Mm.
of it. That's, for me. You put the other cheek.
Yeah. Yep. Very wise. Yep. There's no other way. There's no other way than to forgive. That's what Jesus was trying to tell us. He forgave the people that crucified him, right? There's no other way. That's the thing, is if you return pain with pain, fear with fear, then it just perpetuates the cycle that has been going on for who knows how long.
You're caught back in the loop. Yeah.
Yep. Mm. Well, thank you for sharing that. I can't imagine what it's like, but I'm glad that it in some way worked out for you.
Yeah, everything that happens to you is a positive if you make it a positive, even though it looks negative. Like, that's my take. Nothing is
Mm.
negative in my life. Even if it's negative, I make it positive because I just use it for
Mm-hmm.
learning, for growing.
Yep. Again, it all comes back right here. It all comes back to how we see it, how we create it. Yeah, no matter the circumstance, no matter the situation, truly. Because one may think it's easy for us to say on a podcast now, we're in our comfortable houses and nothing bad is happening to us per se. So we may seem entitled, but you sharing that story right there is sort of proof. The proof is in the pudding in that story.
Oh, and I have so many stories, very extreme stories that I went through because I needed to explore the dark path. Like, I needed to understand
Mm,
suffering. Like, that's what the only reason, because I was so confused. Why? Like, why? Like, this is so not me. Why am I in all this mess? And I needed to see that everything is me. Even what I was not knowing, the darkness was me. It is me.
mm, mm-hmm. That's what the suffering allows, is us to understand love. When we understand the suffering, it allows us to understand love and to expand into love. I think that's why this whole thing is going on, why we created this whole thing in the first place. It's like a simulation. We've all heard that before, the simulation theory. Well, simulations in the humanly sense are usually created for a learning process, right? We have flight simulators, so we know how to fly a plane, and other simulators, so we know how to do whatever is being simulated. Well, if we take that metaphor into our lives, I believe this is a simulation of love. And somehow, some way, we're learning the lessons of how not to love in order to know how to love. Like, what is love not? What isn't love, so that we know what is love. And I think that's only done through our suffering. And essentially, we're figuring out that we are love. That's the thing too. That's the deeper aspect of it, is that we're figuring out what we are not in order to figure out what we are. And what we are is just unconditional embodied love, no matter what happens on the phenomenal plane, whatever comes up in the simulation. We're slowly and slowly figuring out that we are just love incarnate. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like, from that perspective, that we are all love. The things that would bother the ego personality, it's unbothered over here. But once you
Yeah.
fall back into character, oh, it is bothering me. So you're not in that space anymore of understanding unity. So we're like back and forth. And it's still part of the growth, that falling back asleep and, waking up again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing, is Rome wasn't built in a day. We have karma to reap, some scars, as they say. And I think that's just part of the simulation. That's just part of the process, we could say. It's going to sleep and waking back up again. And that's the journey, right? That's kind of like, that's part of it. We're not meant to, even though we have these realizations, it's almost like we're not meant to all of a sudden have it be okay, be all okay, rainbows and butterflies. It's not really like that. It's not, that's not the point. That's not the point.
Exactly.
Integration is the point.
And just trying to understand infinity, you know what I mean? There's no end to infinity. So there's no end to understanding ourselves.
That's the good news. Yeah. The good news is that the story never ends. Even when we can have this conversation that we've had for the past hour, it still goes on. The show goes on. And the movie of our life, it continues, even past these bodies, even past these meat suits and these labels. It continues. But that's the good news. It's the good news is that we still have suffering and karma to reap, right?
Yep. And every person you meet, every situation is just an opportunity to know more of yourself. If you want it, right? If we want it to be that way.
Yeah. Powerful stuff. Yeah. This is good. I feel it 100%. Yeah. I don't even know what to say. It might be a good note to wrap this up at.
Yeah, I would just love to share one thing with your viewers that I'm been very excited to kind of, it fully hit me in a sense, because before I would be like, what do I even share on social media? Because everybody's talking about the same thing. Like, but then I realized, oh my God, like it's not about what you're saying. It's your expression. It's your energy. It's God in your suit. That expression is unique. It's like your fingerprint. Yeah. Irreplaceable. So then I was like, oh my God, so I can share whatever I want. It doesn't really matter because it's just your expression of source in that moment. And with that just came this new aliveness of, oh man, so I don't even have to be structured. I don't have to plan nothing. I could just be spontaneous and share when I feel like sharing, and not want to plan or force, oh, I have to do this. I have to make a video. Like, no, if I don't want to make a video, I don't do it. If I do it, I do it the way it comes out. So I'm just moving into this new space of more flow and more release and more irresponsible in a sense. You know what I mean? From the Matrix perspective, but more responsible with spirit, actually. Yeah. So just a message, if anybody is holding back, their essence, this is your sign to just come out and share it, because we're all wanting it, because God, the self in other aspects, wants to enjoy other aspects of its own expression and creation.
Amen. Yeah. And I would add to that also, don't worry about clicks or views or likes for that matter. Just come on here and express yourself. There's something about utilizing the voice. From what I've come to realize doing this almost 300 times, there's something about just the word, right? The word became flesh. There's something about tapping in with the word, expressing yourself, opening up the throat chakra, that is extremely, extremely beneficial. And you only know when you do it. As you said, just do it spontaneously. Don't try to plan. Just come on here, open up like a diary, like a journal. And you may find that it is beneficial for yourself, but as we said before, win-win. Whoever's listening may also find benefit in it. So yes, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. This was really a pleasure to play with you this way.
Sure. Right. Just playing a game. That's how I see it. I appreciate you coming on here and playing the game with me. It's like a tennis match back and forth between the minds.
Right.
I'm glad you see it that way. Sometimes people don't want to play though. And I'm like, come on.
Right. Oh my God.
Just play.
Relax.
But that's what makes a good conversation. Yeah, just relaxing. We're just hanging, and as you said, we're just spontaneously expressing, just going with the flow, with whatever wants to come up. Creating just to create, as we said.
Yes.
So, yes, I thank you for coming on here and aiding in that creation journey. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Gary, and for you as
Seriously.
well.
Peace and love to you.
Thank you.
And peace and love to anybody that listened this long as well. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.